Indian Scott digging through the past. Crazy tales they uncover fast. History's stranger than you think. They'll also talk about wieners in a blink. They'll talk about wieners in a blink. Oddball history.
Boom, boom, boom.
How.
Is that a good Cosell? I don't know.
I'm going to count it. That's a good Howard Cosell.
Howard Cosell. I just know him from. It's funny. I heard of Howard Cosell. Never knew until I grew up and saw a documentary that like most of America hated his guts.
Really?
Yeah, they didn't like
I think
him.
he's one of those guys that I'm more familiar with the impersonations of him. Much like Harry Carey.
Yeah.
Like, hi, if the moon were made of cheese, would you eat it?
I know I would.
Yeah.
Heck, I'd ask for seconds.
If you were a hot dog, would you eat yourself?
We all know them.
I don't know the man. I know the Will Ferrell
Mike
impersonation.
Tyson bit a man's ear off. I had a friend I really appreciated. I had a friend from Chicago in college, Joe White, who had his own Harry Carey that was not Will Ferrell's, and I appreciated it very much. He always felt that Will Ferrell's a little bit undersold how hammered he was.
Oh, my God.
Like, it was more senile and less hammered, and he was just shithoused all the time. And he would always be bringing up Cubs that hadn't been in
there
the
for 20
league.
years. Yeah, I do love you.
Ron Santo.
There's a funny clip of him, like the actual Harry Carey, where he's like just calling a game doing the play-by-play, and then just goes into this tirade about Cracker Jacks and how like they don't have the toy in them anymore and how disappointed children are.
Yeah.
And he's just in this like 5-minute long tirade, and periodically he's just like, strike two at the...
I don't know what the big deal about Cracker Jack is. Did you ever go and buy a pack of Cracker Jack thinking you're going to get a prize and find no prize in the box? Here's the pitch. That might not sound important to some people when you're a little kid, especially from a humble origin, and they cheat you out of a prize. There's a bouncing ball. Second baseman has the Barbary over the first. It's hard to think in laudatory terms of the product.
I take it there was an occasional box of Cracker Jacks that found no prizes for the little Harry Carey many years ago.
You got that right. And boy, when a box of Cracker Jack to me meant a lot of money. Here's a pitch, bounce foul. That's the most asinine marketing I've ever heard of. One ball, one strike. These guys say, well, you sing about Cracker Jack. I said that I only sing it because it's in the song.
The guy's a pro.
And I love his insistence that like kids are really pissed about Cracker Jacks.
They're fired up.
That's what they're mad about.
Yeah.
These Cracker Jack toys are not what they once were.
No, it's we used to be a proper country.
Yep.
But today we are boom, 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 how.
Boom, 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 how.
I think we did it with the Howard Cosell voice.
Yeah, we
Tradition.
went off on a little bit of a tangent there, but
we believe in tradition
that's all right.
around here.
Tradition.
We're doing the unluckiest people in history.
The unluckiest some bitches in all of recorded history.
There's a lady that kept being on sinking boats.
Yeah, she just could not stop.
She couldn't stop it. Abraham Lincoln's son.
Abraham, a harbinger of death for U.S. presidents
was there
for a time.
3 presidents getting shot.
Yep.
How many people can say that?
Yeah, we got a fellow who was struck by lightning a bunch of times. We're going to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
a comical amount of times.
A comical amount of times. There's just so much. I had a lot of fun researching this one. There have. In a way, history is all just a recording of people's misfortune. You know, it's a lot of it.
And we're going to cover the guy that survived both of the atomic bombs in Japan.
Oh, that's right.
Which I've always known about him as like a fun fact, but I've never actually looked into it.
Exactly, me too.
Yeah, so it's kind of nice. There's some funny parts in it.
Yes, it was a lot more sitcom-y than I would have guessed. Oh my God.
Yeah.
We'll get into that
The
though.
history books don't really dig into the sitcom humor of the atomic bombs in Japan.
They really bury the comic timing
Yeah.
of Tsutomu Yamaguchi.
But first,
I'm really impressed with myself that I remembered his name
How to say
without looking at a card. I mean, I did look at a card, but it was the wrong card.
it's okay. The top comments.
Top comments of the week.
Welcome to Top Comments with Oddball History. But first, some AI jokes by me, AI. First up, an unlucky Japanese man. Imagine this. A man who survived both the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings. Talk about bad luck. Here's a joke. Why did the unlucky Japanese man bring a ladder to the bar? Because he heard the drinks were on the house. Sometimes humor helps us process the unimaginable. Next, we visit the tragic assassination of Abraham Lincoln. A serious moment in history, but here's a joke. Why did Abraham Lincoln never get a parking ticket? Because he always had a spot in history. Even in somber times, a touch of humor can lighten the mood. Finally, the Titanic sinking, a maritime disaster that shook the world. Here's a joke. Why did the Titanic get bad grades? Because it couldn't stay afloat in class. Humor can be a life raft in the sea of history.
All right, the first one, we have two related to Scott's amazing cold open.
Yeah, I was proud of how that came out.
Sean Connery addicted to porn.
Sean Connery addicted to porn.
And it was that was an amazing cold open. And I said, Scott
it's useless.
Crisp, my penis is useless.
My penis is useless.
Take notes, kids. Dude's a professional. And then Lindsay said, a seamless,
Appreciate it.
A boom, boom, boom. Best intro yet.
It was.
Scott's stupid fucking little one-offs are one of the things that keeps me coming back by week after by week. It's nice. Our stupid little fucking podcast.
That's right. That's what it's all about. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Yeah,
Yep.
That was a lot of fun. You know what? Shout out little pulling back of the curtain here. That impression came from we were watching 90 Day Fiancé Last Resort.
Yeah.
And there's a guy on there who's clearly like has a crippling porn addiction. Like his wife is this really voluptuous Colombian woman.
Yeah.
And he like shudders when she touches him. And so then thus you can see how I got to Sean Connery
Obviously.
with a porn addiction from there.
Yeah. Was he
My
a Scottish
penis
man?
is useless. No, he's American.
Okay.
Sadly,
Yeah.
it's not. We're not sending our best to 90 Day Fiance. I gotta say, we're not represented well.
Especially The Last Resort. I can't imagine.
Yeah, it's
My
not-
reality TV intake is so much less than yours.
I get around the reality TV.
I will say we have been we watched Summer House.
Oh, see, I haven't seen that one, but I know a couple of people from it from Traders.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ciara.
Yes, she's a
and
big player.
Kyle's dumbass.
Oh, I don't know Kyle.
The blonde guy.
I can't remember Kyle.
I think he was on it. I could be mistaken.
He might be on the season I didn't see yet.
But,
season 1.
We watched the first episode of the new season, and I was like, let's go back and watch the beginning of the first one. Season 1, like in 2017. And it's like 3 of the same people are on it, which is like the real world versus road rules games where people became professional contestants on those shows.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of them on Traders too. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, man, selling insurance sounds like it sucks. I should just keep starting catty fights.
I'm just gonna keep
On
going down
islands.
zip lines.
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep squabbling with Trishelle professionally.
It's just a career choice.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna squabble with Trishelle.
And not so bad, you know. Like it's like
There's worse ways to make a living.
You get sent around the country and do like camp games, but in a way that like where people get mad at you.
It's like
That's not so bad.
It's like team bonding exercises.
Yeah,
I do love we do zip lines and argue with people, and
that's what it's all about.
I pull my dick out and fight a guy every now and then to get the ratings up.
They're shouting matches.
Yeah, you got to have that thing at the end of the episode to promote the next episode.
Yeah.
So a shouting match that never occurs.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't. They did it. I saw they did it as a bit on RuPaul's Drag Race once, but I don't know why they don't always fake fights to use as. And then I guess people will get mad after a while for getting burned. Nobody delivers on the fights.
Yeah, I think Bravo's bad about that. Where like they'll have the big fight that they keep putting in the teasers that doesn't happen until the end. And you're like, God damn, we just...
Yeah. And it'll be like nothing. It'll be like something like said.
Like the teaser showed what happened.
Yeah.
Like that's what occurred.
Yep. And then we're building to that the rest of the episode.
But
I watch. I consume the schlock.
It's nice.
Suck it up.
I suck up the schlock. Just turn my brain off, let it in,
Keep drinking that garbage.
I like the video game responsibility thing as Lindsay again. Oh my God, I just remember my older brother literally brought his GameCube with money he earned raking, cutting grass, and picking up pecans, which he then sold on the side of the road like a goddamn Laura Ingalls Wild character. Meanwhile, my ass...
Oh, yeah. I loved that comment.
Meanwhile, my ass is hogging Ocarina of Time, cutting pretend grass, looking for rupees. Anyway, hope Scott's career as a firefighter is going better than mine as a chicken counter in Kakariko Village.
Oh, you know what? I did go to work, but I haven't checked back in since I did.
That's fine. Hey, you got to do the 24-hour shift, man. You got to give it time.
Yeah.
I did like that because I had a thought about Ocarina of Time, the Zelda game. Is that my oldest brother, used to delete my save game all the time.
Brutal.
Real piece of shit move.
Yeah.
Like a 16-year-old against an 11-year-old.
Brutal.
Just purposefully diabolical.
Yeah.
And so to this day, I can still walk you through the opening village and the Deku Tree, which is the first event you do in that game.
Hell yeah.
Information I do not need.
I bet that Indian kid from Slumdog Millionaire never thought he'd need to know who was on the $100 bill. But he did.
Until you do. But so, yeah, that concludes the top comments of the week.
Top comments of the week. Still doing it by hand, the old-fashioned way.
So, yeah, let's do the atomic bomb guy first.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. Tsutomu Yamaguchi.
Yep. Survived both atomic bombs in Japan.
That's right. He was an employee of the Mitsubishi Heavy Industries.
Hell yeah.
He was he was like a marine engineer was his job title. He's from Nagasaki, but in August of 1945, he is sent for the summer on business to Hiroshima, which is, that's a fortuitous thing.
Not a good thing.
He gets sent there. He's actually about to leave the city.
It's like a bad action movie.
Yeah.
Where it's his last day. They're returning to Nagasaki on August 6th, the day Hiroshima's bombed.
Yeah.
And before they're about to leave town, and he forgets his ID card at the facility. So he delays their departure, has to go back to get it. And in that time, they are hit by an atomic bomb.
Yeah, in that time, he hears a crazy sound and looks up and sees two small parachutes attached to the atomic bomb. It was the little boy dropped by the Enola Gay.
Yep.
He looks up, sees it, bam, gets knocked over. He ruptures his eardrums. He's temporarily blinded. He has radiation burns all over the left and side and top half of his body.
And he was 3 kilometers away. So 1.8 miles.
Yeah.
For all the freedom lovers watching right now.
Yeah, and he's blown over. He crawls to a shelter. He eventually gets back on his feet and heads back I think a day later.
Yeah, they stay the night after the explosion in an air raid shelter, and then the next day they regroup and they go back to Nagasaki.
Yeah, both his colleagues survived too.
Yeah, because they were away. They stayed by the train station, and he went back to the facility. And so they travel back to Nagasaki, and the following day he returns to work.
Yeah, he goes back to work August 9th. The bomb has dropped August 6th, and he goes back to work August 9th.
Covered in bandages.
Insane.
He's just nah, I got stuff to do, man.
Honestly, I would have milked that a little more.
I would have milked it.
I gotta say.
I would have taken it to the house for a couple days.
I'm not saying I'm not as hard of a worker as Tsutomu Yamaguchi, but I would have milked it. I would have watched some more Price is Right.
Yeah.
And
I would have watched more 90 Day Fiance Last Resort at the house.
Yeah.
But
right.
he at 11 a.m. that day, Nagasaki is then bombed. And during that morning, he's telling everyone about how Hiroshima got hit. And no one believed him.
Yeah, he was telling his supervisor, and his supervisor was going, Bullshit. There's no way a single bomb could destroy a whole city. You're lying.
Which you think a guy covered in bandages, like a Charlie Chaplin movie.
Yeah.
Like you think you'd believe him. It's like, no, this is all old Tsutomu trying to get out of work again. I see what's going on here.
Yeah. So I got to imagine a part of him is happy when he hears that familiar sound and is like, oh, good. At least this dipshit's about to find out. you know? That was like a small part of him, but a part.
It was bad for Nagasaki, but good
he's
for his
like,
honor. You
know what?
Call me a liar.
Don't call. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and actually, Japan didn't acknowledge that he survived both attacks until 2009.
Yeah, he was. He didn't think it was important.
Yeah, he didn't push
until a point. He was like, "No." He was like, "I actually
I was
think
there for both."
Yeah, I think I want credit for having double radiation.
Yeah.
So he was officially recognized. I read that there were 160 people that they think survived both, but he's the only one officially recognized. He was unhurt by the
which was
second one,
also 3 kilometers away.
Also 3 kilometers away.
But he wasn't hurt in that one. But he got to be there for both.
Yeah, he was there for both, and he was unhurt, it said, but then he did have a fever and was vomiting constantly for a week after.
No good.
So that's no good. He went on to be a big proponent of nuclear disarmament, which I think really makes sense.
Yeah, it's
totally get
like
it.
Mothers Against Drunk Driving. You know, you have a personal attachment to a thing.
Yeah.
In 2010, Stephen Fry on the BBC did a show called The Unluckiest Man in the World about this fella, and they got blowback for being insensitive.
Yeah.
But that was 2010.
That's
so
right.
the internet has degenerated culture enough to where we're allowed to make fun of him now.
That's true.
So God bless.
Yeah, we're allowed. Thank you. We stand on the shoulders of Stephen Fry.
Yes.
Interesting story. The guy was he was against Japan getting into the war, and actually said that at a point he had planned on honor killing his family with sleeping pills if Japan lost.
Yes.
Which I don't know why you would let that get out. Let that get out there.
Yeah, that's like telling your kid, like, man, we really thought about aborting you.
Yeah, he was like, oh man.
Go
he
ahead.
was like, I was gonna kill you guys.
Yeah, go ahead and take that one to the grave.
Yeah, why bring that up?
Yeah.
Clearly, he had a change of heart. You know, because they
still
did. They lost.
Yeah.
He was there for it.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, he didn't have to do it.
But anyway, he seemed like a lovely man. He married a woman who also survived the Nagasaki blast. They had kids, and their kids had health problems, probably relating to
all the radiation.
Their parents being in a combined 3 atomic bomb blasts.
I like that we could have ended his story at he was proponent of nuclear disarmament, but no. He tried to kill his family, and all his kids had radiation problems.
He didn't try. He just planned on it for a short time, and for some reason
did not
let that information out. Which, again, why? Why Tsutomu?
Why? You're a card.
Oh, Yamaguchi.
But our next character is Violet Jessop. Yamaguchi is Violet Jessop. She was an ocean liner stewardess and an excellent swimmer.
That's right.
Which will come in handy later on in her story.
That's right. She was just, she was, we don't know a whole lot about her. She was English, and she started a life at sea when she was 19 years old?
And she, the first boat was in 1911 on the RMS Olympic, which was the biggest ocean liner at the time.
That's right.
And that ship collided with another ship and returned to port unaided, but was scary. And she worked on the Olympic until she was transferred to the Titanic.
Yeah, interesting things on the Olympic. It collided with the British warship, the HMS Hawk. No injuries, no damage. Violet, this speaks to how shipwreck filled her life was. She didn't even mention this in her memoirs. It has a Wikipedia page and everything. Didn't even make it in her memoirs. But also, interestingly, the captain of the Olympic was the dude from the Titanic, Smith. I think his name was.
Yeah, they ran into some shit and they were like, "We got a boat for you guys to take over."
Yeah, how about
the unsinkable one?
April 1912?
Yeah.
The Titanic. Remember in the beginning of the Titanic when the bad guy was like, not even God himself could sink this ship. And I was like, we get it. We're supposed to dislike him.
Okay. But then she's on in 1912. She's on the Titanic. 4 days into that fateful voyage, it then sinks.
Yeah, she was transferred to the Titanic on April 10th. It sank April 14th.
Yes.
Bad time. Like that's pretty unlucky. That's rough. That's 4 days in. You're still not even used to. You don't even know where everything is
Yeah,
at
you're
your
still
new
asking
job
directions.
yet.
You know.
And an iceberg gets struck. That's no.
But she had a funny thing where, while it was sinking, she was given the job of acting out the instructions to people that weren't English speaking.
Yeah.
So she was
basically
pretty
like
much
a pre-flight demo.
Yeah, but a post-emergency charades game.
But with steak.
But the stakes are high. And then she ended up on lifeboat 16. And
yeah, as lifeboat 16 is being lowered, this officer on the Titanic, James Paul Moody, hands her a crying baby. So she's holding this baby, and she ends up taking the baby with her as they're rescued by the Carpathia.
And then on board, a screaming lady just runs and grabs the baby.
Yep, that's how this particular chapter of the Violet Jessop story ends.
Yeah.
We don't know who this lady was. Hopefully the mother.
Which, there's a lot of chaos going on. You're probably like, whatever.
We just know, Violet Jessop's arms are tired. She's like, I'm not asking.
I'm kind of glad I'm kind of glad I got that one off my plate.
They looked a lot alike.
Yeah.
I think that was her. That was definitely her.
Yeah, of
The
course.
important thing is I don't have to carry it anymore.
Yeah. But then in 1916, she is on the HMHS Britannic, which this is during World War I, and she was
hospital ship.
Yeah, hospital ship. She was a nurse, and hit a German naval mine and sank. And this one had a crazy one of just like the Hungry Hungry Hippos game. The boat was tilting, and all the lifeboats began falling into the propeller of the boat, just destroying them.
It's Willy Wonka when they're floating up to the top of the room with the ceiling fan, with the fan that would have fucked them up. That is the propeller. They're just out. And the word was shredding. It said that it was shredding lifeboats.
Yeah.
Which,
not good.
Yeah, you don't want your lifeboat to be shredded. So she has to...
she jumps off.
Hop off. Yeah, it saves her life. But yeah, the thing sank in 55 minutes in the Aegean Sea. That's pretty quick.
It's pretty quick
to go down.
And then she spent the rest of her career continuing to be a stewardess and nurse on ocean liners.
Yeah.
So she was married to the game.
Yeah, she didn't care. She was married to a man for like a year or two, but then she was like, "Nah, I'd rather go be in more shipwrecks."
Yes.
But
it was a shipwreckless retirement.
It was really weird. You don't see a lot of that back in the day. Just year-long marriages.
Yeah. Wonder if he died at sea. That would be...
maybe. No, I don't think so. They would have said that.
Yeah, that would have been brought up.
They would have said that shit. I thought it was very interesting, too. Okay, on the Britannic, there were two fellow Titanic survivors on there, Arthur John Priest and Archie Jewell. And then Arthur John Priest had been on a sunken ship before that, the HMS Alcantara, which was sank in the beginning of World War I. And then he went on to survive the sinking of the SS Donegal, on which the other guy, Archie Jewell, drowned.
Yeah.
So makes you wonder who was really the unluckiest
here.
All
these unlucky
guys,
people.
I don't know why they're less famous.
Yeah.
That's a thing that I kept running into in researching this is like everything has been done. Like there are more people who it's happened to. We just don't know.
Or like they die in one of them, which would make them more unlucky.
More unlucky.
But if you're only in two shipwrecks and then you die in the second one, you're not around to be in that third shipwreck.
That's right. To our thinking, you got to stay alive to have more unfortunate shit happen to you.
It always makes you think about like how much cooler it was to be well traveled when travel was difficult.
Yeah.
Like
Sure.
you see in like, you know, a British man that spent time in the Orient or something, where it's like, oh, these modes of transportation blow up sometimes.
And here they come.
Our third one is we have Robert Todd Lincoln.
Bob Todd.
Old Bob Todd.
Big Bob Todd. Everybody called him Bob
Big
Todd.
Bob Todd Lincoln.
You can look that up. Bob Todrick, they called him. He is the eldest
Abraham
son.
Lincoln's eldest son.
Eldest son of
Old-
Abraham Lincoln and Mary Todd Lincoln.
Old Bob Todd.
America's hottest couple of 1865.
Just a giant autistic man with a great speaking presence.
He, Robert Todd Lincoln was different from his dad. They said he was less funny. I was like, that's funny.
You
that
never
my guy
hear
was
of-
depressed and wandered around talking about killing himself all the time.
Yeah, but the guy was a
Like,
gem.
All right.
You know, they say humor comes from darkness.
Bob
you know?
Todd. Yeah, I had that thought too. I was like, well, man,
maybe
know.
Lincoln was a charmer.
Yeah, he was.
We don't know. He was president. He had to be some kind of
and
charmer.
It was the 19th century, so it was like everyone walked around talking about killing themselves. Sometimes it was horrible.
That wasn't unusual.
It was
It's
a
just-
horrible time.
But his claim to fame is he was around for 3 presidents being killed,
That's right.
which has to be a kind of record.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to put up those numbers in the foreseeable future. You know, it's like Emmitt Smith's rushing record.
Yeah, the game's changed.
The game's changed so much that it's
You
just
can't-
doubtful.
It's really unattainable now.
It's just doubtful that anyone will be even in the position to approach it.
I think there could be a doctor-related situation with Jimmy Carter, Joe Biden, and Trump. Because they're all
Alright.
so old.
All right.
Like, they're all old men.
But didn't Carter already die of
He did.
natural causes?
But we need to see what doctors were around.
All right.
If they all die of natural causes in some sort of
So it's
facility.
already a little bit of a long shot.
It's already a long shot.
But all right, I'm with you.
From,
You
the
could
ti-
probably
from a
take that-
timing perspective,
Take that to Vegas. I bet you could get pretty good odds on.
Herbert Walker still around?
No.
Oh, he died?
He gone. I think so. Yeah. No,
Bill
yeah.
Clinton's
He
not
went a
doing good.
couple years ago.
He's not slinging dick anymore.
He's not looking great.
We got options. But old Bob Todd Lincoln, his
But
first
so his being near a president's dying career started
with his dad, sadly,
Yes.
in 1865,
Yeah,
which he was in the White House.
Yeah, he wasn't actually at Ford's
Yeah.
Theater. But he was, like just down the way at the
Yeah.
White House, and ran to Ford's Theater when he heard about what had happened. He then was with Abraham as he had a horrible 19th century death.
Yep.
Which he'll see a lot of those. 16 years later,
1881, he's now the Secretary of War, which,
under James Garfield.
not knowing anything about Bob Todd Lincoln, I didn't know that he was also Secretary of War. That's a high up position.
Yeah, that's
You never
right.
hear about Abraham Lincoln's son in the history books.
Yeah, I don't. He's like Frank Sinatra Jr. He kind of gets lost.
He gets lost in
He
the
did
shuffle.
some stuff too.
Yeah.
he did a movie with Sammy Davis Jr.
But he was, the original Nepo baby.
Yeah. So and he's around when Garfield gets gunned down at the train station by
Train
Charles
station in
Guiteau,
Baltimore. He was there for
famously.
that one. Died 6 months later due to infection. So
yeah,
he
that
was an
one-
eyewitness of the shooting, but didn't see the death. And then in 1901, he was around for William McKinley. He was invited to the event that he was shot at, which at this point, after 3 presidents being shot, you just got to quit inviting Bob Todd to things.
The Pan American Exposition in Buffalo. Yeah, he was shot by Leon Czolgosz. I looked up how to pronounce that. It's a crazy name. But that one, he didn't see it, but, another one bites the dust near Bob Todd Lincoln. After that, he notices this trend, and he will not accept presidential invitations. And he had a quote, "They'd better not ask me because there is a certain fatality about presidential functions when I am present."
Hell yeah.
So a win for self-awareness
Yeah.
from Bob Todd Lincoln.
What a thing to be known for.
Yeah, that's really crazy.
Yeah.
I guess though, it's like he was like exposed to it when he was young. That's the key. If you get started when you're young,
Yeah, you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning.
Yeah, it's like
You know?
LeBron broke the scoring record in part because he started, when he was
So young.
18, whatever. He got started.
I wonder
that
if
was
he
like
will play
Robert
till
Todd
he's
Lincoln
50.
with being near assassinated presidents. He could.
And then
I could see it.
maybe my favorite's Roy Sullivan.
Roy Sullivan, yeah, dude, that was that was an adventure to read about.
He's a park ranger.
Shenandoah National Park in Virginia.
Yep. And he's been struck by lightning 7 times.
Yep. Between 1942 and 1977, he was struck by lightning 7 times. He claimed to have been struck by lightning a time before all the times in the national park too.
Yeah.
When he was a kid. But at least 7 are on the
or
record.
8.
7 are on the record. His boss
Yeah.
wrote them down.
Which at a certain point in time, you got to be like, God's attempting to smite me, correct?
He definitely is. And he came to believe that after, I think, the 5th. Might have been
Yeah.
the 4th. I can't remember which exact number it was. But it all... the odds of this happening are 22 septillion to 1. I wrote that down. First time it happened in 1942 is a crazy story.
Yeah.
He's in a lookout tower, a fire lookout tower in Shenandoah National Park, and it gets hit by lightning and bursts into flames. He crawls from the burning tower as it's like collapsing and gets struck by lightning.
Never good.
Never good. You escape a fire and get struck by lightning.
And then one of the times he got struck by lightning, was I can't say decapitated.
Decapitated?
Incapacitated.
Decapitated. Incapacitated.
He was not decapitated.
One of those words.
Yeah, incapacitated. And a bear was there, and he had to beat it off with a stick.
That's right.
And he said in his life he had hit 22 bears with sticks.
So
this
also a
guy
record.
loved keeping records.
He did. He knew himself by the numbers very well.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, that's the 22nd time I've done that, which is an insane thing to say.
His belt has many notches that are organized in a way that only he understands.
Yeah. Another thing I loved about Roy Sullivan was, see if you notice a trend here. Okay. In the second time he gets struck, July 1969, he's in his truck and somehow he still gets hit by lightning. Usually people don't get hit by lightning in cars because they act as a Faraday cage. Read about that yesterday. But it sounds so smart to reference.
Oh, yeah.
But so he gets struck by lightning and it sets his hair on fire and knocks him out, all right? The third time, he's in his front yard. The fourth time, he's in his ranger station, strikes him in there, his hair catches on fire. And then he comes to believe after this one, the fourth one, that a force is after him. That was in the spring of 72. August of 73, he outruns a storm to the point that he thinks he's safe, gets out of his truck, struck by lightning. It sets his hair on fire. He crawls to his truck where he keeps a bottle of water because his hair is constantly being set on fire by the lightning strikes. June of 1976, he injured his ankle and his hair was set on fire. And the seventh and final time, he was fishing. This is the time where he encountered the bear. His hair was on fire while he fought the bear off with the stick, it turns out.
Yeah.
Which is the amount of...
This guy's just Ghost Rider at this point.
Yeah. This guy's hair bursts into flames.
Yeah, quite regular. I'm shocked he's not just bald.
That's
just walking around looking like Deadpool.
Yeah. And I love the detail of like, I had to start keeping a jug of water in the truck because
how often I burst into flames.
I stick around a little while. You'll see why. You'll see why I have that jug of water back there.
But I think he is the unluckiest of our group just for the mathematical impossibility. Mm-hmm. Add in the 22 bears hit with sticks.
Yeah.
Grand champion, Roy Sullivan's the winner.
Yes, I tend to agree. Also, really funny that, what's it called? His story is that, like, he was fishing when he was struck, and he, like, caught a fish. So that was why the bear was trying to steal the fish
yeah.
from his line. So in the chaos of trying to put his hair, his flaming hair out.
Fighting a bear, and not just letting the bear have the fish.
I'm not. No, that's my fish too.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get struck by lightning and bring home no fish.
That's my god.
Like some kind of bitch.
Yeah, that's my goddamn fish.
But that's Roy Sullivan, our winner.
Yep.
And
I have a couple of honorable mentions I wanted to hit you with.
All right.
The first one I told you about, Wyndman Wycombe Musgrave. He was a Royal Navy officer in World War I. He was torpedoed on 3 different ships, and not only in one day, but in like an hour.
You have to imagine at a certain, this is like a comic book level of tragedy where he gets torpedoed, jumps off the boat, saves his life, swims to another ship.
Yep.
That ship is then torpedoed, jumps off the boat, swims to a third ship.
Torpedoed.
You imagine there's some sort of moment where he gets off. He's like, talk about a case of the Mondays, guys.
That's right. Exactly. He, eventually he, after the third ship gets torpedoed, he just passes out on a piece of driftwood.
It's coma season.
It's coma season. Exactly. And then he's rescued by a Dutch trawler, which is then torpedoed. Okay, the Dutch trawler wasn't torpedoed. He was rescued, and he went on to become a commander in the Royal Navy, so good for him.
Yeah.
And the final honorable mention, I don't know if you ever heard of the horrible misfortune of the early life of Adolphe Sax, the inventor of the saxophone.
No.
Okay, Adolphe Sax, the inventor of the saxophone, born in 1814 near Belgium. This is just a short list of misfortunes that befell him. Age 2, he falls from 3 floors up, hits his head on a stone, and is believed to be dead.
Yeah.
Age 3, he drinks a bowl of boric acid, mistaking it for milk. They keep their boric acid right by their milk.
Who hasn't been there?
Which, that's a rookie mistake.
We
You
had a
got to
call- we
keep
had a-
those labeled.
We had a call like that one time where, cleaning ladies will steal stuff and put it in water bottles.
Yeah.
And so we were at this call for this guy drank bleach because his wife was keeping it in a water bottle, and he just woke up hungover or something and took a slug of it.
Oh, no.
And so we get there and we're like, what happened? And they're all Spanish speaking. And so I'm speaking butchered Spanish. Like I'm trying to be like, hay problemas con las cosas que respirar. Like, are there problems with the things that breathe? Trying to ask about his lungs, and we're having trouble communicating. And then I'm fucking.
I thought that sounded flawless.
I know, right? But we're struggling. And then like 5 minutes in, the ambulance shows up. And the second they walk in, a guy just goes, "What's going on?" And the wife, who was standing there the whole time, just goes like, "Oh, my husband accidentally drank some bleach," just in like perfect English.
Hilarious.
Like, you bitch. I was like, I think she wants to kill this guy. This feels like it was on purpose now.
Yeah, for sure. She was drawing it out.
Yeah, they're like, maybe this guy just only speaks bad Spanish. This big white dude.
Yeah.
Maybe he needs to practice.
I'm not going to correct him.
Like, we'll keep this going for a minute.
I don't need to rush things
Yeah.
right now. It's fine.
So-
I'm going to let him learn. Today could be a real learning moment for him as
Yes.
a Spanish speaker, and I'm not going to take that away just because my boyfriend is dying.
So God bless her,
Age of 8, serious burns in a gunpowder explosion, Adolphe Sax, and he also fell onto a hot frying pan, burning his side, was Hansel and Gretel happening? Was he abducted by a witch who was going to eat him? Because why was the frying pan that big? Anyway, at 11, he gets the measles and goes into a coma for 9 days. 14, he breaks his arm in a carriage door. One time he was struck in the head by a cobblestone, fell into a river, and almost drowned. And then at age 23, he was severely poisoned by tainted wine. His mother once said, "He's a child condemned to misfortune. He won't live."
It's very bleak.
Oh, and then everyone in the
I am
neighborhood.
kind of feeling like this isn't unlucky. This is just life in the old days.
Life in life in
it's just how
early
it goes.
19th century Europe.
You just shit hit you and you died. I don't know.
They would say they said the neighborhood, the people in the neighborhood would call him Little Sax the ghost because they were like, he's gonna die. He's going to die, which I would judge him for it. But there was a kid in my neighborhood growing up who we all knew he was going to get hit by a car. Just the way he rode his bike. It was like, he's for sure going to get hit by a car. And he did 2 times.
Here we go. Did
He survived. He was
Good,
fine.
good.
He was fine. He knew what he was doing.
But our final
He
honorable
just loved
mention.
getting hit in the car. Oh, can I say one more thing
Yes, of
about
course,
Adolf
of course.
Sachs? During the Crimean War, he invented 2 insane inventions that never actually got made. One was called a saxotonaire. It was a locomotive-powered organ that would be able to be heard by all of Paris at once. His second invention was in response to the siege of Sevastopol.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it? But it was called the Saxo Cannon, and it had a half-ton round, and he said that the idea was it would obliterate an average-sized city. That was his big idea.
I like everything Saxo.
Yeah, I like how
Yeah.
he's throwing Saxo on everything.
And he's also in this is a little nutty. He's been hitting the head a few too many times where it's like, hey, we're at war. And it's like, perfect. I've made a big ass piano.
I made the biggest goddamn organ you motherfuckers have ever seen. And he was like, and then I love all that misfortune and shit. And then he came through it and invented the saxophone.
Yeah.
And
Just
he
a
himself
delightful-
was like a clarinet and a something player. My girlfriend pointed out if you combine the 2 instruments he played, it was like a saxophone, but I don't know enough about music to,
Yeah.
to be able to repeat
Here we are.
what she said.
Another honorable mention is a guy that might not have existed.
Yeah, but what a fun
what
They
a-
made a movie about him, so I think he officially existed now.
Yeah, it
You
was
know?
a Korean guy who was captured by the Japanese and forced to fight for them against the Soviets. He was then a POW and then was made to fight by the Soviets against the Germans in the front lines, was then captured by the Germans and made to fight against the Americans, and then was captured and made a POW for a third time.
He was a
And
hot potato.
He was a hot potato.
just being...
And this all kind of stems from this one picture of like an East Asian fella in the Wehrmacht like outfit, and they
Oh, yeah.
can't really place him anywhere, but it's just like a fun story.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, because it is crazy. And there are like records of some East Asians fighting in the Wehrmacht, whatever.
but my favorite thing about him is his name was Yang Kyung Jong, and there was a real estate agent in Canada
Yeah.
that got in trouble a few years ago. Her name is Debbie Hanlon. And I'll post the picture here. As she goes, Korean Yang Kyung-jong fought with Japan against the USSR. He then fought with the USSR against Germany. Then with Germany against the US. Wanted agent who will fight for you? Call me. Your home will be so sold with our great service.
Wild decision.
Wild decision. Which, fuck yeah, this is like a Jim Adler, the Texas Hammer.
I might have gone with like a cartoon boxer for like, I'll
Yes.
fight for you.
Maybe Rocky. I don't know.
But this possibly non-existent
Korean man.
Korean guy who fought for all these different forces during World War II. Well, and then captured by the Americans. I guess he didn't really fight for the U.S. He was just captured.
So let's see. I got I'm headlining the Big Laugh Comedy Club March 6th.
Nice.
Come check that out. It'll be fun. I'll be posting about it a lot. So I want to sell that out. And then you got anything coming up?
Definitely. Oh, Jimmy, you know I don't know. Yeah, March 6th, I have a 325 in Dallas, Dallas Hyenas.
Choose your champion.
Yeah, choose your champion.
Go see Scott in Dallas. Come see me in Fort Worth.
Yeah, I think that's all I got, you know?
I was featuring for Chris Porter and then Deborah DiGiovanni the past 2
nice.
weeks.
Very cool.
And it was a blast. Actually, the last night, it was at Big Laugh Comedy Club. They have a small room and a big room. Brent Morin was in the big room.
Oh, nice.
And on the Saturday Late Show, nobody sold any tickets. So there was like 20 people to see Brent and like 10 people to see Deborah. And so they just combined the shows and did like the headliners both did 20 and then the features both did 10 and had an MC. So it ended up being like a cool night where you got to like see 2 headliners do shorter sets, and it was
That is
showcase
fun.
style, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
Misfortune brought upon a good outcome.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah, no, that's cool though. I was doing shows last weekend at Dallas Comedy Club and Backdoor, like the Valentine shows. I met a guy who used to know Lee Harvey Oswald's widow.
Oh yeah.
His friend had an Army Navy store, and she like answered phones for him. Marina Oswald.
That sounds like a
Small
guy
world.
that brings that up quite often.
Yeah, he heard us talking about it because I was wearing my Texas Theater shirt with Lee Harvey Oswald's face on it, and a lady was like, "Who's that?" And I was like, "Lee Harvey Oswald," and this guy was like, "Funny
Knew
enough."
his wife.
Yeah, I
There
know
you
that
go,
guy.
small world.
Yeah, I was also I was watching Traders last week.
Yep.
And there was a challenge where they dumped roaches and like worms and stuff all over them. I was saying that's got to be a weird day for one to be one of those roaches or like worms, you know,
Or to be on,
you
like-
fall from a very high. You're like, you don't know, you've lived your whole life in dirt or you know wherever they farm these roaches and worms, and then suddenly you're falling from a great height and you're just like, and then you're like, is that fucking Chriselle from Selling Sunset?
Not
What a weird
Chriselle.
day. What a
Whatever
weird
happened
day.
to Krayshawn, the rapper? Wonder what she's up to.
Oh damn!
That just reminded me. Chriselle reminded me of Krayshawn.
I haven't heard that name in years.
Where are all the one-hit wonder rappers at nowadays?
Where have all the Crayshawns gone?
Where going to be our child book? Where have all the Crayshawns gone? Why you should
all the
avoid getting
Crayshawns
face
gone?
tattoos too young.
That's right.
Really limit yourself later on.
Oh, I had to laugh this week. Also, I was driving down I-35. I saw. I have two highway-related stories.
Let's do it.
Driving down I-35, I thought it was funny. On one side of the highway, there's a billboard that says "God loves Dallas."
Yep.
Other side of the highway, there's a billboard advertising that you can get 77-cent margaritas at Applebee's to help feel better about Luka Doncic being traded away.
Nice.
So it's thank you, Luca, 77-cent margaritas. And then I got this guy over here claiming God loves Dallas. It's like the second one completely undoes.
I feel like and there's a sun shining over the 70-cent margarita sign.
I don't think so.
Here's for your thought.
It was like a really rainy, shitty day too. The other one was I was on 30, and I was on 30. I was near Fair Park. I had a very stupid thought, but I wanted to share it because it humbled me to my core, and I think sharing it will only make me even more humbled and grounded. But so it's very stupid. I was driving and I saw something caught my eye on the side of the road, and as I got closer, I realized it was like a large royal blue duffel bag with like red trim that had just been run over a bunch of times. But like for the first like split second I saw it, I was like, fuck, is that Spider-Man? Like it was very quickly I was like, of course Spider-Man isn't real. Of course it's not Spider-Man.
He's not
but for
dead
that
on
second,
the highway.
For that second, I was like, oh no, Spider-Man has been struck and killed while crossing I-30
trying to get to Fair Park.
in Fair Park.
Yeah, the
What
movies haven't been doing great lately. It's-
Terrible end for Spider-Man.
I had I've been laughing. I heard a country saying I've never heard before, which they
yeah.
always make me giggle. Like, and I
Yeah.
started using them. I grew up in the suburbs, so like, but I work with a bunch of country dudes, and like when guys say like that dog don't hunt,
Yeah.
when they're calling you an idiot, I fucking love that one.
Yeah.
And I heard
like that
one as the time-honored tradition of watching Wheel of Fortune and accusing the contestants of being homosexuals. We've discussed this. It's
what all the firefighters of America are doing.
all the firefighters of America at 6:32 on the dot or Central Time are accusing one of the contestants of Wheel of Fortune of being a homosexual.
Or is it a round table, or is it usually like, is there usually agreement, or is there debate?
There's some
guess
debate. There's usually everyone guesses what's going to be. Where
Yeah.
you go like middle-aged black lady, gay white guy that's a veteran, and then a white lady named Karen. And you try to guess who the contestants are.
Nice.
And we've gotten pretty good at it.
See, I've never watched enough Wheel to be able to do that.
Yeah, the Ryan Seacrest doesn't hit the same, but it's fine. You know?
Yeah.
There's always one gay guy on the show now. You know what I'm saying? Shot at Ryan Seacrest. But one of the guys...
Making Ryan Seacrest is gay jokes, by the way, that's like America's pastime by this point. Like that's been popular for so long.
Yeah, it's hacky at this point, but people still like it.
it's
Things are
so-
hacky for a reason.
Yeah.
But a guy
Exactly.
popped up on screen, and a guy sitting next to me just went, "He knows a dick ain't square." I had never heard that before, and it tickled me pink. Just he
Yeah.
knows a dick ain't square.
Damn. Yeah.
It's like bless your heart. Like you could call someone a cocksucker, but it's
it's
much
so
more
much
fun
better.
to be he knows a dick ain't square.
It's so much fun.
Like, it's
more fun
classier.
and folksy.
Yeah, it's a folksy way to do it. You have anything else you want to talk about?
Let's see. No, I don't think so, but maybe.
I had a
I've been playing a lot of Donkey Kong.
fuck yeah.
I've been playing on the Switch, the new Donkey Kong Country, whatever. I don't know what it's called.
Is it a racing game or like a?
No, it's like a
run
new
around?
Donkey Kong Country. So it's like, yeah, it's like the original like Donkey and Diddy going around, having adventures, jumping in barrels.
Is there any
Diddy has a rocket pack now.
Nice.
That's exciting.
good addition?
But it's like a really great game, but you know, it still has its soul. You know, it's still the basics. You know, it's about Donkey and Diddy getting their hoard of bananas back.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of fun, good times.
Fuck yeah. Just a positive review for the new Donkey Kong game.
We love you, Donkey Kong.
Yeah. I had a funny texting moment with Taylor. She was sick and I was doing shows. And so I'm always trying to like, she's taking care of the baby by herself. And she said, we have dogs. And I thought she texted me snuggling. Like just I was saying, how's it going? And she says snuggling, like she's snuggling the dogs on the couches. But she said struggling, which was a cry for help.
Yeah.
And my response, thinking it was snuggling, was just like, fuck yeah.
Oh no.
And then she was responding like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And so I had to go back and read it and be like, oh no. Well, like, I'm just the Jocko Willink of our relationship. Or I'm like, you just got to get after. Like, bad things are happening. Good.
Yeah.
Fucking bear down. You got this.
Yeah. Oh, that's rough.
So I thought that was funny. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Whoops.
So, whoopsie daisy.
Whoopsie daisy.
So until next time,
Until next time.
hail Satan.
Yeah, that's right.
Or
That's right. Remember that, kids.
stay in school, hail Satan.
Jimmy and Scott digging through the past. Crazy tales they uncover fast. History's stranger than you think. They'll also talk about wieners in a blink. They'll talk about wieners in a blink. Oddball history.